Hello, my fan friends. Welcome to another RHLSTP this week with Lou Conran. It's the last RHLSTP to go out in 2020. It's been a fantastic year. I think we can all agree. I've had a good time. That's all that matters, right? We'll see if 2021 gets any better. I will be continuing self-playing snooker and Twitch of fun on twitch.tv/rkherring. Please do tune in. It's a lot of fun. Seeing me and working out whether the mental decline is genuine or artifice, I'm not sure. Also, currently, if you're listening as this goes out, my Emergency Questions ebook, Emergency Questions 1001 Conversation Savers for every occasion, there's actually another 25 in there, I think, as a bonus, is only 99p on Kindle, possibly other ebooks as well, I'm not sure, but that's until about the 6th or 7th of January. So if you want to get that book for a ridiculous 99p on your device, you can get the Kindle app. You don't even have to have a Kindle. And then you can ask people 1,001 questions and get your conversations going in 2021, because we've all forgotten how to talk to each other. Please do buy it. I mean, I won't see any money from it, but it'd be nice to get into the charts. And yes, please, if you're with Amazon Prime, do subscribe to my Twitch Amazon Gaming channel. You can do that every month and give me £3.50 for no cost to yourself. There is an ad explaining how to do that at the start of the page, RK Herring, on twitch.tv/RkHerring. So let's, for the last time, say fuck you 2020, suck my big motherfucking dick. And I wish you a happy 2021 and hope we all survive until the vaccine arrives. Hopefully some live RHLSTPs in 2021. Looking forward to seeing you all again. Thanks for the support through this crazy, crazy year. It's RHLSTP with Lou Conran. Hello, please welcome a man who's babysitting his own kids. You're not allowed to call it that. I'm looking after them. If anything goes wrong, we'll be in trouble. It's Richard Herring. Hello. Welcome to Richard Herring's Lorry Storage Twatted podcast. I'm here at the lorry park that's failed to be built because it's too rainy. That is England summed up right there. This is where all the lorries in Brexit are going to park. I've driven out here especially to do the podcast from here. You can see it's just behind me. I'm sitting on a hill. There's a church there. Oh, you can't see because of that thing in the way. There we go. Oh, you can't see because I put the wrong button. Hold on. There we go. There, that's better. And there's a church just behind me. Look at that. Could there be a better example of what Britain is becoming? This is the last podcast before Brexit in broadcast terms for the podcast. So we're doing a couple more in 2020, but this one will go out on the 30th of December. So Brexit is on the way, my fine friends, but I was hanging around with my family over Christmas, and the younger ones who survived, they call it RHLSTP. So, and sadly, many of them are dead as a result of having Christmas dinner together. Even though we're recording it before Christmas, it's like good night, sweetheart here. So, look, what's been going on this week? I played this game with my wife. My wife does a podcast called Drunk Women Solving Crime. She's actually doing it tonight, which is why I'm home alone. She was given this game, which is sort of Drunk Women Solving Crime in card form. And I played with one of the drunk women, my wife. And they were either much too easy or too weird. So you get a clue and then you have to try and work out, you ask yes or no questions to find out what the crime is. So here's one I just found. Greeted with lead, picture of machine gun, bang. On a very special day, 6 men died abruptly. It was annoying to my wife because I just got them all immediately. I was just going, that's the St. Valentine's Day massacre. It was. Useless evidence. Because of his large hands, a man accused of a double murder walked free. O.J. Simpson, I said. Correct. And very good. These are meant to be true, like 50 twisted tales from real crime cases. This is the first one that came out. One man delivered vegetables, the other delivered meat. A short time later, one of them was dead. This was my wife had to get this one. I wouldn't have got this one. That is the story of Cain and Abel, which I would argue is not a true life mystery and true life murder mystery. I would say that's a fictional one. It also was difficult when she was saying, did it happen in the UK? No. Did it happen in Europe? No. Did it happen in Africa? No. I don't know where it happened because it was just outside Eden. But the one that most excited me, which is a story you might remember, was a gourmet for the mentally insane. Despite the fragrant garlic and thyme, the main course just wasn't very good. This is that story from Germany about the cannibal and the victim who was happy to be eaten. They met online, and then they met up so the cannibal could eat the person who wanted to be cannibalized. The internet's wonderful, isn't it? How would they have met in the past? They wouldn't have been able to meet up. They cut off the man's penis, the meal's penis, fried it up in some herbs and garlic, and tried to eat it together as a sort of starter to the event. But the penis turned out to be inedible. Then the cannibal killed the guy and ate bits of him and kept the rest of them in the freezer. Got into a bit of trouble down the line. But I couldn't help thinking that's a disappointing last few hours for the guy who died, isn't it? He'd been looking forward to being eaten, but before that happened, enjoying a last meal of his own cock with a new friend. And then embarrassingly, his penis turned out to be inedible. So he's sitting there, presumably in some discomfort, having lost his penis. Maybe regretting his choices, thinking this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Maybe thinking, God, I hope this cannibal won't judge me for having an inedible penis. It was already embarrassingly a small portion, but I got a bit nervous when it was about to cut it off. None of this is going how I hoped. Did he suggest they maybe eat a different part of him together, or was he too upset to suggest that and just wanted to get it over with? The only thing that could have happened that would have made it worse if the police had turned up at the last minute and saved him, so he didn't even get eaten. But at least he got eaten. That's what he wanted. What else have I got for you? Oh, actually, look, I had a funny picture to go with that. Let's John have a look at the funny picture for that. Here it is. It's a deep fried penis. And I'll quickly tell you about my daughter who came in last night, and we've been playing this game together. It's like a Candy Crush game. I've been kind of obsessive about it, and I told her we play it together sometimes. And I told her I've started paying money sometimes to finish levels because I get bored with them. And then she came, and even though we played a lot, she came and said, "Daddy, I wasn't playing the game even." I said, "Daddy, you're playing that game too much. You've started spending money on it. I think you need to delete that game." I was admonished by my own daughter for playing video games, and I said to my wife, "Did you put her up to this?" She didn't. She just came in off her own back and, "You need to delete this. This is terrible." And she was right. It is. Look, I'm on level 1,215. I am too obsessed with it. That is too much. If you're watching this live, the final Taskmaster is on Thursday. I'm in the lead at the moment. Will I fuck it up and come second, or maybe not even second, or will I cruise to victory? All I'll say is, after the show was over, Greg Davis gave me a little head. That's all I'm going to say. That's your clue. And we'll find out what happened on Thursday. You'll know if you're listening to the podcast. You'll also maybe know what happened in the chase, which is I'm on the chase. Did I put a picture of everyone up? I don't think I did. There's a picture. Oh, there's a picture of me on Taskmaster. Yes, the chase has been moved to Christmas Day at 5 p.m. on ITV. I'm back in the big time. This is it. I'm mainstream. It's going good. So do tune into that, or watch it on ITV. Catch up. Some people know what's happened. Some people listen to this know what's happened, and other people don't. It's how confusing and delightful. Anyway, have a lovely Christmas if you're watching live. Have a lovely what's it called? It's the sort of taint, isn't it, of the year between Christmas and New Year that you're enjoying if you're having this live. If it's come out on today, I should say I am drinking beer, so I'm going to be quickly unable to think of words. I can't think of the word for being unable to think of words. That's how bad it's got. Let's introduce my guest. She is probably best known. I'm very excited about this introduction. This is one of the most exciting introductions I've ever given. She's best known for being one of the news team on the show Press Gang, one of my favourite TV shows of all time. I hope she was. Will you please welcome the amazing Lou Conran, ladies and gentlemen? There she is. She's in an Ibis hotel.
I am. It's all glamour, isn't it?
It's lovely.
I've matched my jumper to the curtain so that I could just blend in, and I've really thrown myself into the showbiz lifestyle.
And your hair a little bit. The hair, you could just disappear into the background.
I literally could. Look. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, you watched Press Gang?
I loved Press Gang.
Oh my God.
I mean, to a ridiculous amount. I became obsessed with Julia Sawalha for much of my life, and then dated Julia Sawalha for 2 years at the end of that obsession.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did you bang her?
I mean, how did I bang her every which way?
What I meant was, how did you get to meet her?
I cast her in a play I was in. It's quite clever.
Oh, Richard.
When a reading of a play, and then she made the moves on me. Careful what you wish for. That's all I'd say.
Yeah,
how was Press Gang? What was your role in Press Gang? What are your memories of Press Gang? Let's talk about that for an hour.
Okay. Well, my role in Press Gang was to be the butt of quite a few people's jokes, unbeknownst to me, because it was my favourite programme as a teenager. And then I auditioned to be part of the news team.
Yeah.
And then during my audition, they said, "Why do you like Press Gang?" And I said, "I really fancy Dexter Fletcher." And then I later found out that all of the cast watched all of the audition tapes. And then I was recruited to be a member of the team. And every day, I was very naive at the time, believe it or not. And then every day I'd collect my my wage slip or my contract sheet or whatever to get it signed off, because that's how it happened back in the day.
Right.
And they'd changed my surname from Conran to Fletcher, Louise Fletcher. And I was like, "Oh no, you've got my name wrong." And then it wasn't until about a year after that I thought, "Oh no, they're all taking the mickey out of me." And then Dexter, or Dex, one day he just came over and said, "So when are we going out?"
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I went bright red.
So have we both banged the leads from Press Gang? Is that what we're saying?
No, I think your mission was successful.
Okay.
Mine, I was just a sweaty teenager that didn't know whether she was coming or going. Yeah.
Very exciting, and that's your first job, more or less. It must be your first job. You were into sort of acting from an early age, and that you got into a show you loved.
Oh my god! And the best thing about that, let me bore you with this.
No, I'm not bored. I want to know all the background detail.
Okay, well, so we filmed it sometimes at Shepperton, and then where else did we film it? Can't remember, but I think it was at Shepperton that this happened. There was one day we went in to have breakfast in the canteen or whatever, and we used to all sit together. And then, oh my god, I was obsessed with Lovejoy at the time as well. So I had Press Gang and Lovejoy, and Lovejoy came and sat at our table, and I can't tell you, I was a creamy teenager. So not only did I have Dexter Fletcher on one side, but I had Lovejoy on the other. And he had cornflakes with the top of the milk on them and banana. You're welcome. And I was, thank you. And I was so overly excited that I left the breakfast table to go and ring my mum to tell her I was having breakfast with Lovejoy. And then when I got back to the table, he had gone. And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we've just had breakfast with Lovejoy." And then somebody, don't know who, turned around and said, "Lovejoy? That wasn't Lovejoy. That was Mel Gibson." So I'd left the table because I got excited. It was Lovejoy, and I wanted to tell my mum, but it was Mel Gibson.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both sort of short, sort of hairy men. Mullety, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was filming Hamlet at the time.
Okay.
So.
And were you calling him Lovejoy as you were at the?
No, I was just.
Pass me the cornflakes, Lovejoy.
No, I was just bright red and sweating.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good celebrity story.
Yeah.
That's got so many celebrities in it. Some of them who weren't even there.
Yeah.
But then Lovejoy's gone on to be a bigger star than Mel Gibson. Well, at least hasn't had a mental breakdown and become racist, as far as I know.
No, exactly. So, maybe it should have been Lovejoy. Maybe in a parallel life, like in Sliding Doors, somewhere, my sweaty teenage self is sitting with actual Lovejoy somewhere. Yeah.
I was obsessed with Tinker, and I went out with him about 10 years later for a couple of years.
Did you? And how did you bang him?
I banged him every which way. But yeah, very interesting. Did you hear the story about the man eating the other man's penis on a date and it being inedible and that being quite embarrassing? What's the worst internet date you've ever had, Lou? I imagine you've, from watching your stand-up today, I imagine you've had a few dates with internet
Yeah, I was going to
Gentlemen.
say, though, that when you said about that the penis was really disappointing to eat, of course it is. All penises are really disappointing to eat. You're going to put that thing in your mouth that's
Yeah.
been in whatever hole,
Yeah.
wherever.
Well, it's made of spongy tissue, isn't it? The guy, I read about it on Wikipedia. I went afterwards. I thought there's a short film in this. I thought, but then someone's already done films about it, obviously. But
Yeah.
the guy wanted the guy to bite his penis off. That's how he wanted to remove it, but he wasn't
Oh,
able to.
oh
He
no!
wasn't able to do it.
You've got
Yeah.
to. I mean, we've all watched Up the Jungle, or what's it called? I'm a Celebrity. And
Yes.
trying to chomp your way through a kangaroo's cock
Yeah.
that should give you a clue.
I mean, they don't make them bite them off the kangaroo. They do. They kind of detach them first.
You don't know. You don't know how they get there. You just don't know.
I think partly the guy messed up the cooking process as well, so they might have been able to eat it. But
it's like liver, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could It's a very limited time frame with liver, because you can go from to.
I imagine a penis is more like calamari. I think if you do it right, I would have done it in deep fried in sweet chili sort of flakes
Would
or
you?
something. Yeah, because I like calamari, but I imagine that's what a penis would be like to actually consume.
No,
Have
I'm going to say it's more like kidneys.
Okay.
Yeah, like that kind of, when you eat it and it squeaks.
Yeah.
Got that kind of.
I haven't eaten a kidney for a long time. That was that slightly ages both you and I think.
Yes,
I think
it does.
in our youth.
Yeah,
Steak and
liver
kidney
and
pie, liver and kidney.
Yeah.
I mean, we ate a lot of offal as children, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think today's kids do.
No,
I don't think my
just
kids
eat
will ever eat a
McDonald's,
kidney.
which actually I guess is the same, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's all ground up.
Yeah.
It's all ground up.
It's all arseholes and bollocks, isn't
it? We've all done it. We've all eaten it.
We've all done it, yes. We've all bloody done it.
But you've had some dating. You've had some dating disasters well, certainly if your stand-up is to be believed.
Yeah.
But have you ever done that blind date internet dating, which was wasn't really around when I was dating, really?
I didn't do the blind date internet dating. No. I went on first date.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah, and that was it was in a hotel in France.
Okay.
And they sort of they grill you, like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And then basically they more or less tell you what you're getting. So I knew I was going to get a really tall kind of rugby player-ish type bloke. But what I realised subsequently now is that what I would have preferred was somebody with personality instead of just girth and size.
Yeah.
And I went all the way to France and then sat at the bar, got on really well with Merlin, the barman. And then this beast of a man walked up the stairs and he hadn't even got in the door. And I went, no.
Oh, no.
No. And then I had to sit and have dinner with this man who basically told me that the reason to have kids was so that they can look after you in your old age, and that was the only reason.
It's not worth the trade-off.
No,
I would have been there to tell him it's not worth.
Yeah, no. Well, I realised that. Yeah, if you're getting told off by your own children for playing video games, yeah. And then he sort of not that I said, oh, how do you like France? And he said, oh, I've never been before. So, okay, fine. And then they said I had to get a passport for this. I was like, oh, okay. And his mum still did his washing and everything, and then blah, blah, blah. So basically, my dating wasn't that successful.
No.
And then during that date, they said, that's gone horrifically. We've rung the UK, and we're getting somebody else sent over.
Oh, my God.
So then I stayed the next day, and then got food poisoning from the meal I'd had with the beast. And shat my way around that hotel because I wasn't actually supposed to stay as long as I did.
Right.
So they kept moving me to different rooms while new people were coming and going.
I mean, they can't have expected everyone just to cop off with the first person that they saw, though.
No.
I did see it. I remember seeing a little bit of this. I remember all I remember is feeling quite sorry for you that it wasn't going your way, and you seemed lovely, and I do remember that. I don't remember much more, but I remember thinking that she seems like a very nice person. I didn't know you very well then.
No.
And,
well, then you were wrong. because I'm a cock end. No, do you know what? I was exhausted because I was aware there was cameras everywhere. There were cameras in the rooms, in the bedrooms, everywhere. So I was exhausted from having to be nice for about 4 or 5 days. And I was like really aware that, oh God, whatever I did, oh, do I want to stay a bit longer? Yes, I do. So I'd better be really nice about everything. Oh God.
What was the impetus to doing that show though? Because this was just, you were on as a civilian, right? This wasn't as a comedian. This was
No, I'd applied years ago.
Right.
And then they rang me, like I'd had a really awful year.
Sure.
And they rang me a couple of months after my annus horribilis, my horrible anus. They rang me a few months after my horrible anus, and then and I was like, oh fuck it, I'll do it. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
Yes, you are absolutely.
Oh great. Oh, thank fuck for that. So then.
Try not to be racist. That's all I'd just tried to keep the racist swear words to a minimum.
Oh, but I've got my minstrel outfit over there. Oh shit. So it was just sort of at the right time, really, and it was just like the prospect of having a few days in France. So I was like, oh yeah, all right, then I'll go. So I didn't have any intention and sort of actually finding anyone. I just thought it'll be a right laugh.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go into it.
It's
the fun thing.
But then people there were so serious about it, like, oh my God, they were like, if I don't find somebody, I'm going to be really. And I thought, it's a fucking program. You're on holiday. Look, they're giving you the money. You meet Fred. He's nice. Have a free gin. Fucking hell, get on with it.
Oh well, it's not the best way to find a life. I wouldn't imagine there are many long-term successes from first dates. Maybe there are.
Yeah.
Few shags, I reckon, have come out of it.
There were, yeah. They were in the room next to me. I could hear the bastards banging away. I was like, it was taking ages, and you think, fucking hell, am I going to have to go in and finish that off? Lovely hotel, though, very romantic.
Good. It was me and Tinker next door. That's what was going on there. So,
chomping on your cock.
It could be worse, couldn't it? See, it could be. However bad your date's gone, it wasn't as bad as that day. Well, he sort of got what he wanted, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. Look, part of the reason I'd been meaning to get you on for a long time, but I was discussing ghosts on Twitter, and Emma Kennedy brought your name up as in regards to ghosts. So I'll ask you an emergency question that I ask a lot of people, and I think I'm going to get a yes out of this one. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes.
Lou Conran. Oh my goodness, you've frozen.
Oh,
are you still there?
Am I frozen? It's the ghost.
Wow, that's terrifying.
It's the ghost.
You've lost her.
Can you hear me?
She's turned into a ghost.
Oh no!
I knew this was going. I said it never goes wrong, and it's fucking gone wrong. I said to me before, it never goes wrong. That is spooky, though, isn't it? Is Chris Evans there? Oh look, it's just me now. I've turned into a ghost. What? Chris Evans is on the case again. I think Chris Evans deliberately sabotages these things. It's like Munchausen syndrome, so that he can then step in and save the day. Look what's happened to me. Very exciting, isn't it? Let's see what transpires. I'll try some more of these out on you at home. See if you can get them. Let's see if we can get them. A man adorned himself with borrowed plumage and spent the rest of his life in the loony bin. Extreme makeover. There's the picture. Do you know what crime this is? They're not all guessable. Oh, I could have got this one, actually. Some of them are a bit sick. That's Ed Gein, the serial killer. Mysterious monster. I've got this one straight away. Although the murderer told the police his name, he was never caught. Come on, that's too easy, isn't it? They're meant to be going so that you can get a good questions, yes and no questions going. But oh my goodness.
I'm here. Oh, I'm here.
You're here, but you're just a funny face of you pulling a funny face. That was good. That was a very spooky moment for that to happen. Yeah. And, I said to you beforehand, it never goes wrong. And for it to go, this house. So this is why I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Have you, this house is haunted and the ghosts don't like me. And they did that on purpose because they knew that would be fucking excellent.
Yeah.
What are the chances? Literally, I've never said to one, it's never gone wrong before. And I knew, the minute I said that, I knew it's going to go wrong. Have you ever seen a ghost, Lou?
Yeah.
You should have frozen again then. That would have been good if you just...
Yeah. If I'd have started levitating, that would have been amazing. No.
You have seen ghosts?
Well, I had a man get into bed with me once.
Okay.
I mean, back in the day, it wasn't really that unusual, Richard. But I sort of like was sort of awake, but not really awake, and I rolled over, and this man pulled the duvet up, and he went, "Shh." It's a bit creepy.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then sort of like was like, what the fuck was that? And then I looked again, and he wasn't there. He was gone.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's what but you see, it happens when people are sleeping a lot, right? That's what this happened to me.
No,
This is
not
where this came from.
necessarily.
The other day I was asleep, and then I thought my son was shouting, and my wife went no, and I thought, and then I looked across, and I saw my son walk into the room, and then he sort of stood facing not quite the corner, but not looking at me, and I said, Ernie, it was completely 100% looked real, and then I reached across to him, and he wasn't there, and then I had to go and check he was still alive and hadn't just passed over to the other side.
Okay.
He's fine. But it was like 100% real. But I was obviously asleep, Lou, I would say.
Nah, you see, you say that. I have had things happen during, like, while I've been fully awake.
Right.
I lived in a flat once where plates would go across the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay,
I lived on my own.
Yeah.
I lived on my own, so it wasn't the neighbours breaking in and chucking my crockery. Although, was it?
There's always a rational explanation.
Yeah, you have to think logically about these things.
Could be a kind of magnet. There could be a bit of metal in the middle of each plate, and it could have been a magnet turned on and off.
Yeah, or a mouse on my draining board.
Could have been that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we've also in this house have experienced. Well, we had a very weird, turbulent time for the first 6 or 7 months, where everything was going wrong. But it was down to bad builders. I think our boiler kept breaking down. We nearly got carbon monoxide poisoned. Me and my wife together heard a baby crying, and it wasn't our baby. And then I tweeted about that when Emma brought you into the conversation, and then someone who lived in my village tweeted me and said, "Oh, the people who used to live next door to you, when they had a child, they experienced that as well." So it hasn't happened since we haven't had a baby, but it was never our. We recognised our own baby, and he was always asleep. When you go in, he would always be asleep. But both of us heard the crying. So Emma told me you should come to my house, and so I guess you've got some experience of ghost hunting.
I've got my tarot cards here, Richard.
Goodness.
Whoa, yeah. Me and my mum. There's a college now. Then you'll probably think I'm bonkers. Now.
I do think you're bonkers. I'll just say that now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
But I'm open-minded.
Well, you're open-minded that I'm bonkers. That's fine. There's a college in Stansted, Mount Fitchett. And it's a college for people to go and learn how to be weirdos. And it's like Hogwarts, but for adults. Okay. And it runs all year round, every year. And you can just go and meet people that are bonkers, or people that have had genuine sort of experiences of these sort of things, and it's fascinating. I've sat in a séance. I've heard Judy Garland sing at me. I mean, you're laughing, Richard, looking at me.
Why would she come down to your séance, Judy Garland? She'd have better things to do in heaven than come and sing for you. And
because why wouldn't she want to be near Stansted Airport? Why wouldn't she want to be there? Because, I'm sure it's got some nice bits around Stansted. Okay. You just don't know, do you?
So if I show you my attic, will you be able to see if the ghosts...
Oh, here we go. This is how he gets the freaking penis chomped on. I'll show you my attic.
And you eat this calamari I've prepared for you. Don't worry about me wincing in pain, having blood all over my crotch.
I'll only eat it if there's chilli on it.
I'll just get rid of this lorry part for a sec. Hold on.
Oh, the mystery's gone.
There's my attic. Can you see any? It's a bit dark, hard to see, isn't it? Should I turn the light on?
Yeah. Oh, nice bottom. There we go. Oh, we didn't hear that because he's gone. Thank God for that. There must be... Oh, the lights just flashed on and off. Ooh.
There you go. Can you see any ghosts?
Yeah.
Those are light bulbs. They look like they're orbs, but they're just light bulbs. It's just
they do look like orbs.
That's a snooker board there, so that's not a ghost.
Oh, well, somebody's definitely died on that. And what I'd suggest is those beams are ripe for hanging.
Right, they are.
Yeah. So, and you've probably got an old lady in there. at least an old lady, probably
Okay.
in Victorian clothing or something. And do you often smell weird smells in your house, Richard?
Well, only the ones that I've produced myself.
Oh, okay. Because that
I
would
don't really
suggest.
don't. Maybe we've had smells. It's more sounds, and yeah, it did feel like when we first moved in here, it felt like the house didn't really like us to begin with. But I
Yeah.
think they've accepted us now. My son, but who's 3, he's obsessed with. There's a door that's been blocked up that used to run between his room and our room. So it's because it's an old house.
Mm.
They used to have they used to have doors that ran between each room, so you could go between each room. And he's obsessed with this door and bad people coming in and out of it and stuff like that, and ghosts come. But he's obsessed with ghosts, so he says he sees ghosts.
Yeah. That's a prime age.
Yeah.
Prime age. Do you get little cold patches in your house?
I mean, it's quite cold anyway in this house, so it's quite hard
you
to
really
tell.
want to poo-poo this.
I
don't
don't.
you?
But I'm being honest with you. I'm actually very open-minded. I don't think there are cold patches. It's weird that other people. And as I was telling you beforehand, it used to be a hospital for the village, but that's more next door. So it was next door who said next door's the people who lived there before the people who live there now apparently said they used to hear a crying baby as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's not a
No.
great ghost to have, is it?
No, but have you bashed down the door? What in between the?
No, it goes because it goes into our wardrobe now, so we wouldn't need to. But yeah.
Maybe it's Narnia. Oh my god! Yeah, what are you doing? Mr. Tumnus is probably there.
Maybe we'll have a look. We'll take it down at some point. What do you think? There might be a skeleton behind the door.
Yeah, there might be all sorts of shrapnel and like kind of like gifts left from the.
I mean, there's definitely stuff. We took a door down and there wasn't stuff in it, but there was there were lots. We put it back up again, but there were lots of really oldie worldy nails and. So a lot of it was from 1702 originally.
Oh, fascinating!
So there's a lot of oldie worldy stuff. In
I'm definitely coming to get pissed with your wife.
You can come round anytime
and sniff out your ghost.
You can have a look.
I did a comedian's ghost hunt in a house in Pontefract.
Okay.
30 Privet Drive. They made a film about it.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
I saw it through Christina Martin, who's also a good friend of my wife. She's done these things a lot.
Yes, I went with her.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely fuck all happened. But it was fascinating, and I had I'm doing my own little podcast, Richard.
Yes.
You're welcome to join. And a couple of weeks ago, we had Yvette Fielding from Most Haunted as a guest on there. And she's been to 30 Privet Drive as well. And she had a lot more happen while she was on there. But, we didn't have knives coming out of our sofa. We just had Chinese takeaway and a few cans of beer.
Okay. So if there are ghosts in my house, are you able to make them go away, or will they? Do
you want them to go away?
Well, they're all right at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like if the baby's unhappy. I'd like the baby to, find its mum or something. But
yeah, I mean, I can come round and sort that out for you.
Good.
Yeah. What you could do is get your wife to just walk around with a tit out.
Okay.
And with the offer of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
That's what you could do.
I'll suggest that.
Yeah, see how that goes,
I'll say Lou Conran told me that will work. She's just texted me, actually. She's already done one of her shows. She's about to do a next show. Drunk and Solving Crime. If you're not enjoying this, I think it's live online. You can go and live. Watch
Don't turn over. How rude.
It's not as good as me I was doing these cards when you weren't here. It was Jack the Ripper, that one, if you didn't get that one.
Was it? All right, I'm going to do your cards now. Okay. Hang on. Oh,
I had my tarot cards read for Taskmaster as a thing that is out of character. Oh my God, is that just
That's literally just come up, and I did not put that there, Richard. You saw me shuffling them. It's the end of the world as we know it. Sorry about that, R.I.P.
Okay, I've had a good time. I've had a good night.
Yeah, you have. Who are you leaving your house to? Because I'd really love to live in a house like that. Okay. There we go.
Unless me and my wife go together, I think probably she'll get it.
Oh.
I mean, that's why she's married me, isn't it? That's why she's married me.
Oh, of course, clearly.
Get the house.
Clearly. Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Peroni beer.
Ooh, lovely.
So I've got back
Lovely.
onto drink. I stopped drinking. I've stopped drinking a few times. I didn't drink in November, and then I've started drinking. The problem is, if I drink, I just drink every day, but only a little bit. But then I stopped drinking.
I've been pissed every day of lockdown.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did. I stopped all last year. I didn't drink all last year. I've given up eating chocolate, which I've done pretty well for 2 years. Done. I had occasional mini bits of chocolate, but I gave up 13 months, and then lockdown. I pretty much drank all through lockdown.
May I ask why you gave up the chocolate?
Because I just eat so much of it that
Ah.
I can't stop eating it, and so it's more like Cadbury. I can still eat things. I have a dark chocolate the other day. That's fine. If it's if it's sprinkled in something, I'll eat that. I've had a very occasional bits and pieces, but if I go back to Cadbury's, I think I will just. And it's around the house all the time because the kids obviously have it all the time. So I just would eat a whole pack of giant chocolate buttons that are
Like
for the
crack,
kids.
though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not enjoyable either. So I'm glad I've stopped that, but I've replaced it with ice cream, so it hasn't really worked.
Oh, okay. Maybe you need to eat so much that you become lactose intolerant.
Okay.
Try that.
I'll try that.
Yeah, see how it goes.
That could work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm back. I'll probably give up drinking in January again. Then we'll see how that goes.
Well, good luck with that, eh?
Thank you. What else can I talk to you about? There's a lot of stuff in there. You got what? I mean, let's talk. You the moment you've been working in warm up for TV. That's why you're in L Street.
Yeah.
But you've done that for quite a lot of shows. It's quite a difficult job. But the one I was most interested in you talking about was being the warm up for Countdown.
Oh my God!
Which I imagine is quite a difficult job and quite an interesting job.
I don't want to be rude about it.
No, don't be rude about it because they might employ you again.
Well, I don't want to be rude about Countdown because it's a cult, isn't it? And
I love the show.
And it's amazing. And you first go in the studio and you're like, oh my God, it's the thingy, it's the board and then there's like men behind it winding the conundrum round and like you don't realise that it's actually still the same set that they just turn round.
Oh wow.
And I've stolen a few of the letters. They're in my house now.
You've probably ruined the game because of that.
I have.
Going, why aren't there any E's in here? Someone's taken all the E's out.
Where's the C and the U and the N and the T? Where have they gone? But it's an interesting job because with warm up, you'll have witnessed it yourself. I don't think you've ever lowered yourself to do the warm up.
I haven't ever done it. I would have done it, but I never was off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it now. I have to say.
No, it's quite no. It's
a hard job.
It is. It's really hard. But with Countdown, the audience have been going for about 25 years. And that's not a joke. They all have their allocated seats where they sit. They book a hotel for each block. They bring their bag of snacks. They've got their pads. And they've been there since the Richard Whiteley years. And most of the audience are made up of previous contestants. And so I can't normally do my warm-up stuff and talk about tits and fannies and eating knobs and calamari chili balls or whatever. So I just have to... it's like social services. You kind of just have to chat to them. Oh, how are you doing? And then as they come in, I think, oh, blimey, she's still alive. And then it's fascinating. But it's for me, who can't even add 2 and 2, and all I ever do is out of the letters, I try to make up rude words.
Yeah.
I just say I am sitting in this audience with very intelligent people. What the fuck am I doing here?
If they were that intelligent, they wouldn't spend all their time sitting in the audience of Countdown, would they? They're not that intelligent.
They're a very special and unique crowd.
They are, and I'm very much one of those type of people, so I'm allowed to say it. I would very happily go and sit in the audience of Countdown and go.
Well, you can, if we're allowed back, you can come with me, and I'll even steal you a mug.
Okay, that's very good. That would be lovely. That'd be very good. You do like stealing stuff again. I don't know how much of your stand-up is reality, but you've had a lot of temp jobs, and you've been in trouble for stealing from. Well, you got away with stealing a lot of stuff, which I think everyone does to an extent.
Yep.
But is it true you were sacked for stealing large items that were too large, or were you exaggerating for comedic effect?
Okay, so I've had a lot of temping jobs, and I have just admitted to stealing letters from Countdown. So that's so this is yeah. I used to work at the BBC,
Yeah.
um, and well, I before I left one of my roles at the BBC, I ordered myself £280 worth of stationery and had it sent to my house. Because I figured I'd paid for it because I pay my license fee.
Yeah, that's true. So we can all do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have I stolen? I used to work at HarperCollins, and I used to send myself all of the books because oh, I'm
Yeah.
just going to the post room. I just post myself some books. What else have I stolen?
And then you
I
sold the books on. You sold the books or gave them away. What did you do? Do you sell the books for profit
No. Well,
or
I
keep the
kept the
books?
books
Yeah.
and pretended that I was well read.
Okay.
And then when I move house quite a lot because I'm restless.
Okay.
So and you can't really chuck the books, keep moving books around. So I gave a lot of books to charity
Oh, that's okay. That's nice.
that I'd stolen,
Yeah.
and some of them had got original signatures in, which
Okay.
I sort of regret afterwards. But fine.
Yeah.
What's a signed book in a charity shop between thieves? What else have I stolen? I've stolen. Oh, the thing is, you see, when I get drunk, I steal makeup from other women,
Okay.
which has led to many, 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 many awkward moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you like? Borrow it, or you literally pocket
I just see, like, there was one incident in a Hotel de Val in Brighton, and I can't give you all of the details to that because it's horrific. But needless to say, um, the woman's husband saw me steal her lipstick, and he got his calamari out.
it?
And yeah, I just decide that that's a really nice colour. I love that. And I've never stolen from a shop or anything.
Yeah.
I just decided.
Should try it. I've stolen from shops. It's great fun.
Oh really? What have you stolen?
Yeah, I used to steal a lot. I stole. When in my 20s, I shoplifted quite a lot of things that. Sometimes I stole a hairdryer. Didn't really ever use a hairdryer. Just thought I was interested to see if I could do it. I stole a lot of deodorant and printer. Some things were for work. So I used to steal printer ribbons because I couldn't afford them. But I just quite got into the thing. We had a routine about stealing Kinder eggs, but I think I generally used to steal Kinder eggs just to see if it was the thrill of getting. I've never been caught, and there's no way the Rozzers can nab me because I'm too clever.
Rozzers.
I'm like Jack the Ripper. I confess to my crimes, but how will they find out that I've done them? They'll never know. And still to this day, I still take pick and mix from. I take one pick and mix from every pick and mix I go by. And if I'm getting very bad service or something, I feel something's very overly expensive, I will sometimes. It's a risk, though, isn't it? Because that's your life down the toilet if you get caught.
Yeah. So you've stolen pick and mix that other people and small children have probably fingered.
Yeah, that's okay.
Not bothered about that.
That's what I like about it.
I used to work in a garden centre, and I was highly allergic to food colourings and food additives when I was younger. And there was one incident when I worked at Jardinery Garden Centre, Studley Green, Buckinghamshire. Thank you. And I stole a lot of the pick and mix, and I came up on some cola cubes and laughed at a woman that was paying for her John Innes number 3. That's soil. Okay. And because she had blue hair, which the irony of that now is anyway. And my manager and my friend had to lift me by the elbows and lock me in the staff room while I came down, and it was that was
that's
a grave
quite extreme.
day.
I guess pick and mix, it's one of the victims of COVID, isn't it? It's one of the many and audience warm up. We're both struggling. So pick and mix thieves, they're struggling. Where they're going to get their sweets, and pick and mix sellers can't sell those anymore. That's no good.
No. But But you make that comment about the warm up. But today, Richard, as I mentioned to you before we went live with this, I was warming up a studio with no audience. So for a Gordon Ramsay new quiz show.
Yeah.
and I was there specifically to entertain the crew. And
Yeah.
as we know, the crew don't give a shit, do they? The crew would rather you weren't there. The crew would rather you just shut up and let's get on with the job.
And it's getting sort of, if you're employed to, entertain your co-workers, sort of getting a bit close to being, I want to say, I don't want to say strippogram because it's
But
not
it is,
quite
isn't it?
strippogram, but it
It's
nearly
just-
is.
Yeah.
It's sort of the
It's-
ones who come and do jokes and songs for people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. It's mucky, isn't it?
it's
like
slightly humiliating because
yeah,
it's
it
being
is,
paid
yeah.
by. Do you want to come to the office and we'll pay you to just mess around, tell some jokes?
Yeah. It's a bit. You are a bit like an escort, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're just sort of sucking a bag of dicks, but in a not in a literal term because that would be horrific. But yeah, so that was weird. And then they said, "Oh, would you like to come back?" No, no, thanks. And I'm as soon as we finish here.
Yeah.
Bye Manky Curtains. Bye Hotel Ibis. I'm fucking off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Fair
doing.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, I don't need that. I do need the money, Richard, but I don't need it that much. So
Well, you get paid for doing this, Lou. I didn't tell you that. I don't think.
Oh,
You
do
get-
I?
Yeah, you're going to get some money for this.
Oh, goodness me! Well,
mean,
I'll
it's not-
suck a few more bags of dicks then.
It's not loads, but it's better than a kick in the teeth.
Oh, it really is. Oh, happy days.
Yeah,
Thank
so there
you.
you
Oh,
go.
that's good. But do you know? I'll take that death card back. I'll take that. I'll take it back, and I'll find you a better one. There we
Okay.
go.
I know that's how tarot cards work. You can't just
No, but well,
choose the ones you want to give me.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, there you go. There's one for you. You're the star. There
Oh,
we are.
wow. That's
There
good.
we go.
That's more like it.
Yeah.
Right. Look, what else? I'm going to ask you some emergency questions. I'll ask you some Christmas emergency questions.
Yep.
Because it's Christmas.
Yep.
Let's see what I've got. When do you imagine was the last time that Santa had sex? With who or what? Do you think he could get it up after all the booze? What a rude, impertinent question. Do you think Santa's had sex recently?
Yes, I can tell you when that was.
Okay.
Because when I was about 4 or 5, I walked in on Santa having sex with my mum. So I don't know whether that was the last time he had sex,
Yeah,
but no child needs to witness that, do they? After you've been woken up while Santa's just put the present. I don't know about you, but we used to have presents on the end of our bed on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And Santa very kindly bought those presents, which actually was a Bunty annual. Thank you.
Okay.
Nicholas was Blue Peter. Nicholas, my sister. And then I was sort of wandered off thinking, oh, where's Santa gone? Wandered into my mum and dad's bedroom and witnessed Santa giving my mother a good seeing to. Emptying his sacks all over the place, Richard.
Wow.
And no child needs to see that. Thank you.
I agree you shouldn't have seen it, and I don't think Santa wanted you to see it, but I think that's got to be one of the perks of the job. With consenting mums, you're going into a lot of houses. Every now and again, there's going to be a mum who wants a little bit of that.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I think he puts a lot of work in. And
Really
this was the
does.
old days when that was allowed in the workplace. It wouldn't be allowed now, but in those days, in the workplace.
Yeah, I'd just like to think that as he went round, there was just women laying on beds, just eating mince pies and letting him get on with it and pulling their nightie down when they'd finished. I just sort of, it's that kind of 1970s, oh, I'll just eat this, you get on with that, and off you go.
I find it, assuming it was your dad, I don't want to break the magical illusion. It's still quite charming, but that was that was enough to get your mum going.
Anything would have. Anything would have. Yeah.
That's
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Richard. I've got my passion from somewhere.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Good. I'm interested. I don't enjoy New Year's Eve, so I'll ask you this: do you actually enjoy New Year's Eve? Isn't it just too close to Christmas? Would you prefer to put it'd be better if New Year happened in July, I think, just to space them out a bit.
Yeah, I've never really been that bothered about New Year's Eve. It's a thing for me. Sometimes I have been known to try to go to bed early, so that it's just over and done with. Yeah.
Do you ever do gigs on New Year's Eve?
Yes, I have done.
Yeah. It's quite hard gigging in December at all, right? I sort of stopped gigging in December if I could help it.
Yeah,
I'm doing one tomorrow, I have to say.
Well,
I'm doing a charity gig tomorrow, but it should be okay, hopefully. But
you see, even though it's charity,
Yeah.
because they go, oh, it's charity. They are even worse. They're more arseholes. Oh, we're worthy. It's for charity. Is it? Are you worthy, or are you just a bunch of cock ends? Calamari, I'll call them now. No,
Yeah.
New Year's. I've worked at New Year's. Quite a nice evening.
Yeah.
People are worn out. They just, they've got away from their in-laws or their parents, and they just think, oh God, I can breathe and have a bit of a giggle. And that's it, innit?
That's good. And
Yeah.
you get paid well, right, for those gigs
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
when they're able to happen. What
Yeah.
was it that because obviously you start out as an actor, and what was it that made you make the move over into attempting stand up and then becoming a stand up?
Well, what it was, I had written a little sitcom thing with a friend, and I moved up to Manchester from the old Buckinghamshire to move in with her. So because it sort of got picked up by somebody, so we were like, all right. So I moved up to move in with her to write this sitcom thing, and it got so far, and then there was. I don't know whether it's still there, but in Manchester, there was a club called the Circle Club, which was sort of an actory wankers joint. And while we were there, Becky, the woman I was writing this thing with, decided to tell me she didn't want to do it anymore and that she was going to move to Brighton.
Right.
And while she told me that, this stand-up comedy night sort of evolved around me. And I took that as a sign to knock the acting and the writing on the head and just do stand-up comedy. And I stayed and watched it, and I thought, that's fucking awful. I can do better than that. And that's kind of how it started, really.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because I suppose the autonomy of stand-up is appealing, right? If you've got that desire to perform, it is. A lot of actors sort of feel they couldn't. I mean, the actors, when I act in something, actors go, "Oh, I could never do stand up. It's too much." Whereas they're able to do acting, which is sort of the same thing. And I guess you've got the script given to you and everything. But as a stand up, you have that autonomy to make your own work, and you can always work. Whereas if you're an actor, you're at the behest of other people, I suppose, a bit more.
Yeah, and when you're an actor, you're a wanker, aren't you? When I was at drama school, it was just like, oh God, what's my motivation? I'll tell you what your motivation is. Paying your rent. That's your motivation, isn't it? Surely that's what it is. I couldn't take it seriously, and that was part of the problem for me at drama school. It sucked out my love of dressing up and performing.
Sure.
Yeah. So then doing comedy was like, oh, I can just be a twat whenever I want, really, can't I?
I think acting's a really interesting. I think really good actors, you do see the difference between a really good actor and someone who's like me, who isn't all that good but can get away with it. But also, I think actors are often not that interesting in because there's a lot of sitting around. There's a lot of it's sort of quite a boring job, and you've got to be able to cope with that sort of boredom. And unless you're the main part in everything, you're sitting around for most of the day doing nothing. So that's pretty boring. So I think like if you've got the personality and the the ability to create your own stuff, I think it's gonna sometimes feel a little bit limited. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the drama school that I went to was the Oxford School of Speech and Drama.
Okay.
And when I went there, it was just a barn in a field, and all you had to do was lay on the floor and blow other people's pubes out the way. That was basically it. And then I think it was based on Stanislavski, and this is how bad it was. The week that we did the method, I fucked off on a booze cruise to Brittany. And then and so I missed all the lessons on how to find your motivation.
Okay, well that's probably what went wrong. Although you could have said I was playing an alcoholic character, and that's so I had to go on the booze cruise in order to find the truth of them.
Well, I'll tell you how they made us find our truth. They made us do a play called Playing for Time by Arthur Miller, which was set in Auschwitz. So that was fun.
Okay. And is it true, again, this is from your stand-up show, which is available on Next Up Comedy. I watched it today. Next Up Comedy.
Oh, you poor thing. Why did you do that?
Because I research my guests.
Oh, you.
There's only one of your shows there. I have a proper look. I've looked at lots of your stuff, and it's very funny, and it's a very interesting show, and there's it's...
Dog Poo Darren? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But there's preconception. Oh, why is she being so mean about this guy? And then I don't want to spoil it, but it's you learn something. There's a learning process, but it's an interesting process. But you talk about doing. I think this is in this show. You talk about being in the worst show of the Fringe. Was that true?
Yeah.
So that was an acting job. That was the thing that made you give up acting. You claim.
Yeah, that was the that was just the icing on the cake as regards to what the fuck am I doing. Well, it was called Chaucer in the Sky with Diamonds, and I played a paedophile fisherman.
Yeah, I usually get those parts, so I'm annoyed that you got one of my parts.
Sorry. And what did I? Yeah, and it was just awful. But it's Edinburgh, and it was back in the day when Edinburgh was brilliant.
Yeah,
and it was just you just went because you knew you were going to get twat faced every day, and you were going to just get up to no good and just have a brilliant time, and then you might have done a bit of work, and then we just got this review and we were nominated by the Observer as the worst show on the Fringe.
That's just mean, and it can't possibly be true. They haven't.
Oh, it was true. It was fucking horrific.
I can't get past the title and it doesn't really work as a pun.
No, the guy that wrote,
was it Chaucer on LSD or was it?
Yeah, it was set in a train station.
Okay.
And Chaucer's stories came by in different trains.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not. That should be Chaucer on some trains coming through a train station.
Yeah, and I think the quote from the review was something I can't remember it. What was it like? Something like, "Whatever Terry Waite felt when he was released from captivity was nothing like the rush of exultation we felt when we left this interminable crud."
But it's part of what Edinburgh is about. Is heavy-handed, poorly conceived. I mean, I've written 4 or 5 plays for Edinburgh, and they've not all been fantastic. They've been pretty good, but I've definitely seen some productions from people who've gone on to be successful writers that you kind of go, even at the time, again, this is. Yeah. There was a production I went to see because I fancied one of the actors in it, and
of course you did, because you're led by your Calamari, Richard. You are,
and it was a very heavy-handed and I would say offensive portrayal of rape. But lovely. Got a snog out of it, so it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. So she was nice. She was nice.
Was it Julia Swali?
It wasn't Julia in that case. No,
she was in a bad place. Were you about to say?
No, I went out with actresses quite a lot, and then it wasn't quite Julia, but within a couple of actresses after Julia, I decided not to go out with actresses anymore.
Yeah,
more or less stuck to it.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
More or less stuck to it.
It's like when you say, "I'm never going to go out with a comedian again," and then they're balls deep, and you go, "Oh fuck, why have I done this?"
Yeah. It is like that. And Tinker, and I'm never going back to Tinker from Lovejoy again. But then he always gets. I think he's died now, but he always gets me back. Even when he's dead, he always gets me back in there. It's always fun. Look, I'm going to ask you a couple of regular emergency questions, then we'll see where we're at. And I don't want, because I know you're going to drive home. I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm having a lot of fun. We've done, good. This has flown by. We've nearly done it. We've nearly done it. Who is the most inappropriate? Sorry, they come up as sex all the time. I don't know why that's happening. It must be the tarot. It's like tarot.
It's the ghost.
It is. Who is the most inappropriate person you've ever had a sex dream about? Mine is TV's Emma Kennedy. I had a sex dream with Emma Kennedy, but even in the imaginary dreamscape we were in, I really remembered it. We were like on a bunk bed, climbing around on a bunk bed together, but I was totally unable to get an erection. It was like putting a marshmallow in a letterbox, even in the dream. So even my dreamscape, I couldn't overcome the natural revulsion I feel for that woman.
But you've been friends with Emma for like a million years.
We have. We've been together.
So. Yeah, my inappropriate sex dream, and this is horrific. And while you were telling your story there, I was thinking, I don't know whether I can say or tell you that it was my granddad, but yeah, and he was in a bar, and it's it's those dreams where you're like, I don't know whether that was actually real or whether that actually happened. So there was that one.
Yeah, but those kind of things happen, and I've read books about this, and also I was listening to a book about Pliny, and there was something about having sex with family members in that, and what it meant if you had sex with your mum in a dream. But I think you're under no control of what you're doing in dreams, and it's not about what you think it's about. So as disgusting as having sex with Emma Kennedy is, and as morally repugnant, I do feel it wasn't, and you should feel the same. It wasn't something that
you would
I really
rather have
wanted to
banged
happen.
your granddad than
I would
bang
have.
Emma.
I wouldn't have minded.
I had a dream once where and my mum was studying dreams at the time. Of course she was.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I was chatting to my mum, and a black stallion trotted up behind my mum and stood on its back legs and spunked all over her, and like literally sprayed her from head to foot, and she didn't move, and she just moved it. She just flapped it out of her hair, but carried on talking.
Very like with Father Christmas, right?
Yeah, very. Oh my God! Do you know you're unlocking a lot of things for me tonight.
It's getting there. It's getting
but
there.
I told my mum about the dream, and she said, "Oh, well, write it down, and I'll send it to my friend who's a dream expert." And I did. It took a couple of months to get a response from the man, and he more or less sort of said I should be committed. so he's not wrong, probably.
That's not a good dream. Dreams are fucking insane. You're allowed to dream anything. Well, you're not. You have no control of what you're dreaming.
No.
But if you really, really went into all your dreams, there's horrific. I mean, I think you forget most of it.
Yeah.
There's horrific stuff in there, and it's just your brain trying to get stuff out. I'm going to do one of my cards to you, see if you can guess the crime. If you can ask yes or no questions.
I'm rubbish at this sort of thing, but let's go.
Let's see. Let's see if I can get it straight away, and whether you can get it straight away. Some of them are horrible. I just think that it's called Dark Stories. Keeping up appearances this is the clue. Oh, I don't want to show you the back. That's the picture. That's the clue. It's a man on an arm walking along an arm. The men were only following orders and made themselves the laughing stock of the country. Can't think what that is. Well, you won't get this.
I won't. You're right.
No, fuck that.
What was it?
It was some weird story.
Oh.
Let's see if this is a famous one. I'll try and find a famous one. This isn't good. This isn't good podcasting.
Oh.
No,
do you want me to sing at this bit?
Yeah.
La, 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 la,
okay, this is a good one. This is a very bad. You won't get it, but you can ask some questions. The dream is over. The picture is like a no turning sign, but could be like
or a willy that's had their knob chopped off.
It could be a bitten off penis. A great man was pleased that he was so loved. A second later, he turned a corner and was dead. This is very famous. This is a very famous crime, but I don't think that's a good clue for it at all.
Oh, he turned a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, is somebody
it's not even really true either. It's not really true, and I don't know what the pleased he was loved bit was about. Let me have a look. Oh, it was expressed delight at the enthusiasm that the public displayed. His last words were how happy he was that the public loved him. He was in Dallas, Texas. He was near a book depository.
JR. He was in Dallas.
Good. I'm going to give you that. That's
Thank you.
What have you got coming up in 2021, presuming that 2021 is going to happen in any shape or form?
Well, thank you for asking me that question, Richard, because I am doing a podcast myself with the wonderful Sally Ann Hayward.
And great.
It's called Spit or Swallow. And it's about wine tasting or drinky poos.
Okay.
And so we've had some brilliant guests so far. And what we do is we invite the guests to tell us what their favourite tipple is.
Good idea.
And then Sally and I will go out and buy that tipple.
Great.
And then we decide by the end of it whether we will spit it or swallow it.
Very nice.
Sally's really, she's very dedicated to the podcast, and I just got shitted. So I don't really remember many of the recordings.
I think that's for that's have living with someone who also does a drink-based podcast. It is, and you sort of, I think when you get drunk, and I get drunk on this sometimes, a little bit drunk, and you kind of worry about it, but it's so much fun. I think listening to people when they're drunk. Especially if they're not if they're not in the house, and you can escape and turn it off. It's like really, it's really good fun. So that sounds excellent. Is that started? I haven't seen that.
We have recorded 7 of them, and we are releasing them for dry January.
Great. Well, that's good call.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We'll look out for that. Yes. And do you have New Year's resolutions? Do you
I? Fuck.
I gave up chocolate 2 years ago, and I've stopped eating chocolate. It's worked.
Yeah, but you started eating ice cream instead.
Well, not instead. I always ate a bit of ice cream.
Okay, well, well done you for sticking to something. I'm absolutely not sticking to anything. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Well, look, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you on, and you must come round to my. We'll do a live recording of you looking for ghosts in my house, and we'll put it out. Yes. Special, but you must come round and have a drink with us.
Oh, I bloody well will. I'm going to Yvette Fielding's house on Thursday.
Amazing.
To do some ghosty shit. Good. So I'll bloody well let you know how that goes.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, Alexi Sale is going to be the guest. That's fantastic. We've got Catherine Bohart coming up, and Nina Conti's coming up. So lots of fantastic guests. Do check out Twitch of Fun, usually recorded on Thursday nights on this Twitch channel, RK Herring on Twitch. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my amazing guest, Lou Conran. Thank you very much. See you next time, everyone. Goodbye.
How'd you like them sky potatoes?